We're told in your exam specification to talk about measurement devices. So we'll mention that a voltmeter connects to a circuit in parallel to measure voltage between two different points in the circuit. All right, so any circuit you draw, if you want to know the voltage change between here and there, you connect to those two different points. An amp meter has to look at flow through the circuit, so it's not looking at a difference between two different spots. It's sort of inserting a flow meter. So what we do to insert a flow meter is we interrupt the circuit and we connect our one end of our flow meter here and one end of our flow meter there. And so we hook an amp meter in line, in series, to measure the voltage passing through. How would you design a wattmeter? If I wanted to make a box and sell it and call it a wattmeter, what would I have to do? Well, I would have to allow you to connect that box in series with a load, and I'd hide an amp meter in my box. And I'd hide in my box a voltmeter that is connected in parallel. So let's say you've got an electrical outlet in your house, and you've got the power cord from a refrigerator if I connect, so I'm going to make a box, I'm going to sell you a device here, and it's going to have a plug on this side, and it's going to have a receptacle on this side. And inside that box, I'm going to interrupt one of these lines and install an amp meter. And then I'm going to go across the other, sort of from one line to another. I'll hook a voltmeter. I'll take the reading from each of those, multiply them together, and put a display and call it a kilowatt. So if you see watt meters advertised online, this is a typical home usage watt meter kind of setup. You just plug the device into the watt meter, you plug the watt meter into the wall. That gives it complete access to install an amp meter in series and a voltmeter in parallel across your circuit. All measuring devices affect the measurement, it says on the slide, and I believe it. An amp meter should have extremely low resistance. So, like if you're trying to measure flow, you should have as little resistance to flow in that measurement device as possible. And voltmeters should have an extremely high resistance to minimize their effect on the circuit, right? So if I'm trying to measure voltage drop across this resistor, if I connect something here, I am connecting whatever the resistance of this meter is. That better be really, really high. Otherwise, it's going to change what I'm trying to measure. Other types of metering devices, well, we have ohm meters that measure resistance, and those basically pass a known voltage through a resistor and then measure the current. And that's about all there is to that.